So I have a simple document with sections and a table of contents and a title and the author's defined. What if I want to refer to something later? What if I want to talk about what's in section 2 or section 1.1? Well, by default, everything that has a number in LaTeX can be labeled and referred to so that I don't have to hard code the number 1. Because what if I introduce a new section and number 1 changes to number 2? I don't want to have to run through my document renumbering things manually. So instead, I use this handy little macro called label. So now I've labeled the subsection another to be referable through the label foo. You can write whatever you'd like for labels, anything character-wise. Foo is fine. And so I can type a sentence that says, please read section foo. So I label it with the label macro and I refer to it with the ref macro. And if I build it, we'll see please read section ? Again, another example of how you need to run LaTeX twice in order for it to get references correct. So if I build it again, this time it has inserted the correct section name, section 1.1.1, which was the name of what foo was. And if that changes because suddenly that section becomes a subsection, I see this is now 1.0.1 and this is 1.0.2 because it's a subsection inside of a section that doesn't have a number, so it inserts 0, that this will be automatically renumbered. But again, it's using the old data. I'd have to run it twice to see that it gets automatically renumbered to be consistent with whatever the number was. Now you may not like that because it has a 0, but it demonstrates something that LaTeX does, that if there is a numbered section that's missing, it puts a 0 in its place. We've talked about sections and subsections and subsections. There are also paragraphs and subsections, and there are also chapters. What if you're writing a work that is a little longer, like a book? Then you don't want the article class, you want the book class. The book class actually supports chapters, but before I define a chapter and I run PDF LaTeX and open it, we see that the layout is totally different. In this book style, it puts the front matter on its own page. It has decided to still put the table of contents at the front, and the very first number is 0.1 because it's expecting a chapter to exist. So if I name a chapter, this is the first chapter. Now I see that the title's on its own page, that it has skipped a page by default, that the table of contents is on its own page by itself, that it has skipped a page because it is trying to do the left-right page thing, this page left intentionally blank, so that the beginnings of sections on books start on the right-hand page of the book. It has decided to label chapter 1 and then in a slightly larger font the title of the chapter, and reserving an amount of white space it deems appropriate. In this case, I think it is growing the white space a little. I think this is a little bit more white space than normally would be added so that it can start the subsection at the beginning of the next page. This looks totally different. See, there are page numbers, there is text in the header. This is all decided by the style file for a book class. You can see that the section names on odd numbered pages are on the left, whereas on even numbered pages they're on the right. So this would be the first page, this is the left-hand page, this is the right-hand page, this is the left-hand page, this is the right-hand page. All of this is decided by the style. and you shouldn't have to worry about it or make decisions about it. It's trying to make consistent, beautiful decisions in line with what's defined in the style file. I'm going to get out of the book class because it makes things a little too large. I'll notice that if I try to rebuild it, it will say, I am confused, something's wrong. It really doesn't like the fact that I am in an article class, but I've defined a chapter. Chapters don't exist in the article class. So I'm just going to remove this, and it should be happy once more that it's in the article class, and the only thing that's defined are sections and subsections, and things will be correctly numbered and be put back on the right pages. Okay, so we're back to this example in the article class where I have a pretty simple document where the second sentence is, please read section 1.1.1, and I put a period after it. What if I was a little bit more adamant and it had some extra pleases in those? Like, please read section ref foo. This is, if I build it, I see that it has filled it out to the point where section has hit the end of a line break and 1.1.1 appears on its own. This is to many stylistically ugly, that people really would like the word section to appear on the same line as the number, that we don't want a line break there. So there's a way to tell that these two elements are structurally together and should be glued together and should never be split across lines. And instead of using a normal space, we use a tilde. A tilde will say, do not break a line between section and whatever the ref foo turns into. Treat these as always being on the same line. And so now we see that instead of doing a line break, it's hyphenated. That it still tried to fill up the space as long as it could, but to keep it on the same line so visually the reader doesn't get jarred. This is really nice when you talk about tables or figures or sections to use this non-breaking space, this tilde, so that they're kept together. And if this was a little shorter, they would, as normal, appear on one space. It might add a little space or squeeze a little space in order to maintain that section 1.1.1 are remain on the same line together. You'll see me use this often as a non-breaking space as I refer to things. So if I have a label here called bar, and I say again, this should probably not be numbered. Oops. Didn't make it a macro. that it's tried to define space to keep these things together. Why didn't I have to run it twice? Well, because it was already gathering the section information from when it was building the table of contents. If I removed paper.talk, paper.aux, and paper.log, we'd see that all these references and things would be question marks. The contents are empty, the question marks are up here. Again, if I build it twice, they pop back in. Section 1, section 1.1.1.